You are now listening to the LanceScurv Show, the boldest spot on internet radio.
Well, I don't necessarily want to pit myself and those who are my colleagues and comrades in the movements against these brothers and sisters who have rose up because of social media platforms who, on one hand, may have good intentions, but on the other hand, don't have the, or nor have they put in the necessary work in the Black liberation struggle to be garnering the type of attention that they are garnering. So, having said that, we can tell by the validity of a person or any of these kind of movements the work that they've done in the street. And if we look at and at the same time, I like to bring attention to the numerous number of victims of the counterintelligence program of the late 1960s, early 70s, and particularly to focus on the Black Liberation Army, who were true revolutionaries, who truly put in the work not only around the activity on behalf of the Black liberation struggle, but also in the development of Black liberation theory and political thought, who lay lavishing in the prisons of America, again, as victims of the counterintelligence program launched by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. People like Jalil Abdul Muta King, Mumaya Abu Jamal, Jamil El-Amin, Chief Malik. We can talk about him. We can talk about Asada Shakur and the fact that she's been chased offshore. Matulu Shakur in jail. Durrell Ben Wahad, who spent 19 years as part of the Panther 21 setup in prison. Years that he could never get back. Sakua Dunge, Sundiata Kohli, still in prison. So these are our soldiers. Omari Obadeli, who co-founded the Republic of New Africa back in the 1970s, who were calling for a provisional government. The call for us who are members of the Black liberation struggle to free these prisoners, that we cannot forget about them. Geronimo Pratt, who spent 27 years of his life on trumped-up charges. We know they were trumped up because the FBI had him under surveillance in California and then lied about his activities that eventually sent him to prison. 27 years of which he could not get back. So these are the issues. Those are our soldiers. And if there is a movement that has arisen on social media that has scaled the Black community called Hotep or this Black consciousness movement, where's the activity as it relates to freeing these political prisoners? And please don't tell me that you're going to take to those same social media platforms and put up a petition. Please don't tell me that you're going to take to these same social media platforms that created you guys as it relates to this virtual movement and yell, shout, quote unquote, bring attention to and force the white power establishment to free our soldiers. Number one, that ain't happening. Number two, it seems to me that if you study revolutionary activity from a historical perspective, you will see that true revolutionary activity and movements took place as it relates to freeing prisoners. They would capture prisoners from their enemy and trade off prisoners to free, let's say, Mumaya Abu Jamil, to free Chief Malik, to free Sundiata Kohli. And the way that happens, that same Pan-Africanist rhetoric that they use in terms of quote unquote, Black liberation, quote unquote, white, we fight against white supremacy, quote unquote, we are Pan-Africanists, which you are not, because you don't understand Pan-African theory, nor have you put the work in from a international perspective to develop Pan-African relationships. I say that to say, if we look at Malcolm X, his launching of a Pan-African attack on the global white establishment led to, many would argue, his assassination. Malcolm not only was talking about less than, 15 years after the Third Pan-African Conference that, of course, housed thinkers such as Dr. Du Bois, Padmore, and others who put pressure on the global white establishment that led to what we saw in 1960, which was the year of Africa. 2/3 of the African continent had emerged out of colonialism. Why? Because of what took place there. And you might ask the question, why wasn't Pan-Africanism fostered on the African continent? It emerges in the Western Hemisphere for the very same reason that we're talking about. In 1884 and through 1887, the European countries got together in Berlin and carved up the world. In that part of their colonialist activity, Africa was absorbed in that, and the entire Muslim world. So Africa, under the type of pressure that it was under, their hands were tied. So the Pan-African movement that Malcolm began to embark on called for a revisit of what happened in Bandung some years later, where you had not only the African nations, but also the brown nations in concert in a non-aligned movement. And we were looking at that time to revisit that. I say that a true revolutionary movement as we move forward has to take a look at developing what happened at Bandung in 1961 to rebuild the idea of a non-aligned movement as we transition away from American empireship, which they're fighting their own internal battles. The cost of and the crisis in global capitalism is threatening them. The crisis in imperial overreach, which Paul Kennedy talked about, where the expansion of the military-industrial complex has in the past brought other empires, the Ottoman Empire as an example, the British Empire as another example, to their knees, and America has entered into that empireship where they are now part of that crisis. So having said that, the planning and the revolutionary planning amongst thinkers, not only in theory but also in practice, the developing of revolutionary relationships as it relates to the African continent and other parts of the quote-unquote third world. These are the activities that true revolutionaries are doing, not making YouTube videos sounding like you trying to get some likes, or make sure you subscribe to me when you're finished watching this video if you liked it. If not, hopefully we're thankful you for sharing. Get the fuck out of here. So having said that, to brothers and sisters who are part of this virtual movement, our revolution would not be fought over TV cameras. It would not be fought over YouTube, another white platform. It would not be fought over Facebook. The work is being done on the ground. You're not part of it. I would be impressed that if any, and I haven't seen one to this point, who is able to scale their quote-unquote militant talk away from Facebook, away from any other social media platform, into the masses and the grassroots. I haven't said that. I'm done. I was done with y'all a long time ago, and I'm done right here. Peace.
Make sure to check out the boldest blog at LanceScurv.com and follow Scurv on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube under LanceScurv.